Hey guys! So today's video I want to talk about puppies. I love puppies. I'm sure you love puppies. Who does not love puppies? Everybody. Since COVID, I have not seen so many puppies come in the vet office until very recently. I feel like there are puppies everywhere. Everyone's getting puppies. I feel like at this point, you either know someone that has a puppy or you got a puppy recently. There's just endless supply right now. And then there's people even on like waiting lists for over a year that I'm hearing just to get a puppy. It's just puppy central so far. Due to COVID, I believe that everybody is getting lonely in their house. They're spending more time in their house, and that is causing them to want to get these cute, delicious puppies. So if you did just get your brand new puppy, congratulations. You now have a toddler in your house. What does that mean? That means that every little thing needs to be picked up off the floor, including if you have children in the house. They need to understand that they need to pick up all their toys, or have a baby gate where the dog cannot have access to the kids' room where there's a bunch of toys on the floor. I cannot tell you how many times I've seen puppies come into the emergency facility for ingesting Legos, or I saw the craziest thing I think I seen was a rubber ducky. So many times. Things that you wouldn't think that they would eat, they will eat. Things I've seen dogs eat are socks. Yes, they will eat your dirty socks for sure. Underwear, doesn't matter what kind of underwear, they do eat that as well. I've seen dog toys, especially the tug-of-war toys with all the string. I've seen dogs rip it apart and end up eating all the string, and it gets stuck in their intestines. I also seen dogs eat the stuffed animal toys, where they rip it apart and eat all the stuffing. Yes, the stuffing can get stuck as well in their intestines, and all of that can cause, a foreign body, which those surgeries are not cheap at all. So these are things you have to watch out for. And also, even buying your dog a toy, you also have to think about, does my dog rip them apart to the part where he'll eat it? Those are things that you have to watch out for. Not all dogs rip their toys apart to the point where the stuffing is coming out, but a lot of dogs end up, doing that, and they end up eating the stuffing, and then that can cause other issues. So those are things that you have to watch out for and think about. If you're going in the cabinet to get ibuprofen, and on a normal day before you had your puppy, if you dropped a tablet on the floor, you can't find it. It must have went behind something. I'll wait. I'll find it tomorrow. I'll find it when I'm vacuuming. I have to go to work. I'm not going to look for it right now. Now that you have a puppy, you need to look. You need to look under the couch. You need to look behind furniture. You need to find that pill that you dropped, because your puppy will find it. Another thing I want you guys to do now that you have a puppy is look at pet health insurance. You will eventually need that, and you will eventually regret not having it at some point. I'm not telling you what kind of health insurance is better versus the other. I will eventually do a video on that. But I do want to say, do your history, do your research, look up different pet insurances, look up prices, see what is covering what. I do recommend, when you're looking at pet health insurance, you do want to look at the pet insurances that cover the emergency fees. Now, that is where your bills are going to add up. That's why you want the health insurance for when there is an emergency, because vaccines and regular exam, those aren't where your pocket is going to hurt, so to speak. You need to have health insurance for the emergencies that will happen eventually throughout the time that your pet is alive. And that's why I strongly, strongly recommend you get health insurance. Even when they're a puppy, they do run into emergencies that happen. When they do, they may ingest something they shouldn't. They may have ate something they shouldn't have. They may, you may have stepped on his paw by accident because he's right under your feet and now he's limping. Those bills cost a lot of the time. So that is where you want your insurance for. And I do highly recommend looking and doing your research on that because you will need that. A lot of the times, a lot of health insurance you have to watch out for because they get you with, oh, we cover vaccines, we cover annual exams. And in your head, you're thinking, I don't need health insurance for my puppy for medical, emergencies. He's a baby. That's not going to happen. But I'm telling you, most of the time, puppies are the ones that end up in emergency hospital a lot of the times because of, they are very hyper. They get into everything. It's very easy for a puppy to end up in an emergency hospital. I've worked in an emergency hospital. I've seen it. And unfortunately, I've also seen a lot of cases where they can't, afford the medical bill that can potentially save their dog who's not even a year old. I've seen it so many times and it's so sad. So, with me working in this field, I highly suggest you do your research and get health insurance, especially for emergency coverage. You're not going to need, help with vaccines and regular exams because they're not that expensive. And honestly, if you can't afford vaccines or you can't afford regular exams, I question why you even got a puppy to begin with, because those are the things that as a pet owner, you should know that you're going to have to pay for. Okay, so this leads me to the next topic that I want to talk about, which is vaccines. Just like newborns, when newborns, they have to go to their doctor very often to get a bunch of vaccines, and then those vaccines need to be boosted. Same thing goes for puppies. Puppies do need quite a lot of vaccines in the beginning, and they need to be boosted. So unfortunately, you can't give 5-6 vaccines all at once to a puppy. So therefore, they have to come pretty often. Usually every 3 to 4 weeks, they do need to come back to get those boosted vaccines. So you're gonna get that relationship and that bond with the hospital that you're going to with your puppy, and you're gonna spend quite a lot in the beginning. I always tell pet owners this is something you have to consider when you're thinking of getting a puppy is, you do have to spend quite a lot in the beginning just for the vaccines itself. You have to pay every time you go for the exam, every time, you get those vaccines and the boosters. So you do spend quite a lot in the beginning. Also, a lot of times they get dewormed. So to make sure that, they don't have any parasites in the stomach, which costs, and then you have to pay for the fecal to get sent out to the lab so that way they can see if there's any parasites in the stomach. And then they usually always deworm anyways as a precautionary in the beginning. So these are things you have to think of. And then also, the flea and tick prevention. You want to make sure that your pet is on flea and tick prevention and heartworm prevention as well. And those are preventions that you have to give monthly for the rest of their life. And then I do always say you cannot go to dog parks. You should not go to dog parks or any boarding facilities or any grooming facilities until your puppy is fully vaccinated. I know you're so excited to show off your puppy and show off how cute he is and go to the dog park and socialize him with all these other cute dogs in the dog park, but unfortunately you have to wait until your dog is fully vaccinated. And I do want to do another video at some point and talk about dog parks because it is pretty scary to go to dog parks just because you don't know who is vaccinated, what dog is vaccinated for what, and a lot of the times a lot of dogs catch other things from dog parks because there's no requirements that that dog needs to be rabies vaccinated. There's no requirements that that dog, has an eye infection and never went to the vet yet and is contaminating everyone else in the dog park. And you don't know if that dog was just recently tested for internal parasites. So, your dog can end up getting internal parasites from going to dog parks. There's so many things I can talk about that they can catch from a dog park. As I'm not going to go over it in this video, but I do say that you should definitely wait until showing off your dog to other pet owners. The other thing I want to talk about briefly, I don't want to get into details because I am not a trainer. I am a veterinary technician, so I do know a little bit about it, but I'm not going to go in details because I am not going to give you the wrong information. However, I do want to say the other thing you need to do your research on and look up is crate training. Crate training is highly, highly recommended. It will help you. I know, at first, you're going to feel terrible. You're going to put your dog at night in a crate, and you're going to hear him or her cry, and it's gonna feel terrible at first, but it is definitely recommended to do so. It is recommended to put your puppy in a crate when you're not home. Not for long hours, obviously. Hopefully you can get a dog walker, and at that point they can take your dog out for a walk in between while you're at work. This is just to protect him or her from, eating things or getting in trouble throughout the house. Also, crate training is really good for, not having as many accidents. You should expect accidents with urinating and defecating throughout the house just because they are puppies. They're just learning. It's just like babies. They're learning where they can go poop, where it's okay to go poop, and where it's not okay to go poop. They also have little tiny bladders, and therefore they need to go to they need to go outside for walks a lot more than they will when they get older. Just because their bladders are so tiny, they can't hold it in as long as, they can as they get older. So the crate training can also help with that as well. Putting a wee-wee pad in there will let them know that they can urinate on that wee-wee pad. So when they, do have to go to the bathroom, in their crate, they can have a little section in the crate to urinate or defecate. It will take a while for them to get used to the crate. They don't understand why they're in there. I do say don't put your dog in the crate for timeouts for them being bad. That is not a good crate training. They should feel safe. That's what you want them to feel in their crate. You want them to feel safe. You don't want them to feel like I did something bad. I'm a bad dog. That's why I'm in my crate. That's not what crates are for. It's for them, that's their safe spot. You don't want to bother them when they're in their crate. That is their alone time. That's their bedroom, so to speak. So you don't want to put your dog in the crate for bad behavior, because then every time that you go, you leave the house and they need to be crate trained, they think that they're being crate trained because they're bad, not knowing that you're putting them in the crate because you're not going to be home for a little bit. So I do advise to make that a very good, happy environment. Give them treats every time they go in their crate, positive reinforcement. Always. I don't want to go into details on how to crate train, but I do want to say it is very recommended, and I do say that you should do a lot of research on crate training. There's a lot of things to know and do to do positive reinforcement when you're trying to do the crate train. Thank you guys so much for watching this video. If you do like the content in this video, you can subscribe, please, and also like this video if you thought it was great content. I appreciate it, and I will be making more videos shortly. So please subscribe. If you do like the content, I will be making a whole lot more videos soon. Thanks.